Hey everyone, thanks for coming to the live stream. I'm going to be doing some character designs for Red's Planet Book 3 today, and getting some feedback there. So one of um, one of the things, I'm still trying to figure out um, YouTube Live here. So if there's some stumbling and some slow moments, please understand that I'm trying to figure out the interface and where my chat will be coming through, and just knowing if anyone's watching. But I tend to talk to myself a lot anyway, so it shouldn't be an issue. So we have sound rolling. I think I am streaming, which is good. So what I'm doing is I'm doing some character designs of an alien mobster. I've got a scene that takes place in the Nevada desert where we actually run into some aliens. And being near Vegas, you would imagine that there is a kind of mafia hierarchy there, and kind of an alien criminal underworld. And so I need to design a an alien, the head of the family, and the family, and I want him to be, it's on the nose, but I want him to be a Don Corleone a kind of character, a Marlon Brando. So what I've done, I'm going to pull up my screen here. Um, I have collected a file full of images of not only Don Corleone, but I've got Abe Vigoda there too. It'd be great to have a character like him. Um, just some great faces from the original Godfather, or just some of these heavies that they always had, with these really great features. I mean, you can't beat Abe Vigoda. Vigoda, he's practically an alien already. Um, so just going through some of these. So that's one of the criteria for this character. The other is I want him to be uh, he's going to be a an octopus tentacle character as well, just like um, my character Max, and there's a reason for that. Um, and I'm also thinking maybe a Job of the Hut kind of thing. So the whole scene takes place in the back of this old abandoned storefront. There's going to be the lighting and everything's going to be very reminiscent of the whole opening scene of the first Godfather film. So that's what I'm kind of working with. So the first thing I want to do is I want to take some of my reference, and in a Photoshop document, going to open up Photoshop. I'm going to kind of create a model sheet. Um, and I tend to do my model sheets in a longer format, um, just because I like it just is reminiscent of the old model sheets. So by going through some of these images, just pulling in some of the better images of Brando and that I'm going for. Let's see, find another one here. That's a good one. There is and of course the classic pose of right here. I love that. So these are just kind of for reference. Chances are I'm not going to use them. I have a in my head I already have a great idea of what Brando looks like. Unfortunately, it's based on the great Mort Drucker's caricatures. You know, the cat's nice. I'd love to do the cat. Um, the only problem is the cat is so often associated with James Bond that I just feel like the gag would be lost and people would be expecting something different. Um, so let's see if I have any other images. Oh, this is a great one. Love this image. This is actually from the makeup department of the before and after of Brando. Isn't that amazing? I mean, old age makeup wasn't great, and I don't know who the guy was. The best at the time was Dick Smith, who did some of the best old age makeup, um, especially for the movie Little Big Man. But this is kind of phenomenal. All right, I just want to crop some of these guys. So I have a problem of spending too much time on reference. I enjoy going through and looking at stuff, and then eventually it just turns out to be a complete waste of time. It's kind of like if I look up a word in the dictionary, I end up reading the dictionary, which is why I use online spell checks now. So, see if there's anything different. I don't think. Oh, this is just this image right here is great because it conveys the sentiment of the character that I'm looking for, and this is a pose you don't see a lot of screenshots for. Ideally, I'd make my own screenshots, but sometimes I just don't have the chance to do it, and it's easier to find someone else who can online who's already made them. This doesn't have to be beautiful. This is all about reference and nothing more. So I think we got everything we need. Let's go on and save that as Brando. Save a PSD, but let's also save a nice JPEG as well. I guess I'll show you how we can bring that in. So that's all we're really going to do as far as reference. I don't want to get caught up in too much reference. And there's some other character designs that I'm actually trying to avoid, which is the character. To be honest with you, the character of Waternoose in the movie not Incredibles, Monsters Incorporated. When I try to do two things at one time, my mind completely goes. So I'm back over to Clip Studio Paint, which is where I do so much of my work. Clip Studio Paint has a great function here. And by the way, if you're a Patreon or a patron on Patreon, I have a Discord chat going, and I sent everybody in the post as a live link to chat during this if you're actually able to join. So hop on over to Discord and you're able to chat with me live. I'm hoping that I'm getting the live text, not text, but the all right, so I don't think I have any viewers anyway, so that's cool. Oh, I do have someone. Oh, it's me. I'm watching. Isn't that rich? I'm going to jump over and check something real quick and see if... Great. Okay. So, anyway, back over to Clip Studio Paint. Clip Studio Paint, I love this program. I absolutely love this program. So one thing I have is something called subview, um, and subview. I wonder. Hold on, guys. I don't know why my Chiron isn't going. Do I not have it? Huh. Always something, isn't it? So when I go to my main screen, I have a Chiron that runs at the bottom, um, but for some reason it's not running here, and I don't know why. Um, Interesting. You know why? My display capture is in front of it. There we go. Just like to have that there. Okay. Subview. What I'm going to do, subview is a great way to bring in your reference material. You didn't think I'd ever get to it, did you? Technical difficulties, distractions. So subview is great. So now I have my reference material right here in the window, and I can zoom in on it if I need to. I can flip it. I can rotate it, whatever I need to do, and I can put a series of references in there. Matter of fact, I'm going to bring one more reference in. Let's go to import, and it's going to be fun trying to find it because my files are a little full. So website, Instagram, and oh, how about Alien a Day? That's where it is. So hopefully I have a good alien image here. All right, so I'm looking for an image of Max. Here we go, Instagram, it'll be here. So Max is, so these are all from my Instagram campaign. There's Max. So open up Max. So now I've got an image of Max here, and you can see I've got a little arrow here where I can go back and forth to my reference images, which is a great thing to do. So, so let's get started. What I want to do is, and I always start on layers. I'm going to start with a marker tool. I've got an art marker tool, and I want silhouettes of the character. And what I like about this, I know I want him big. He's got to be intimidated, almost a Jabba the Hutt kind of character. And you know, there's another alien gangster that I can draw upon for reference. So, sorry, I'm looking for screen space here. And all right, so if you have a chat, I think my chat as I'm live here will pop into that window. So I'll do my best to answer people. No filter. I don't want to judge anything I do at this point. All right, this is just me playing with shapes and hey, if it's not working, instead of erasing and trying to correct one, I'm going to go to the next one. I'm going to go back over to my reference and just take a look. Maybe he's got. So the great thing about starting here, and this, I don't always start here. It's nice to have a strong silhouette of a character. That you can build your design upon. And these are nothing more, these are thumbnails, you know? These don't need to be any bigger than that right there. And sometimes I start a little bigger, and then even I think starting smaller might be good here. Starting in the same shapes. Let's see. Let's give him more of a. Now, he is ultimately not. He's threatening, but he is not an antagonist in the story. So, if he were an antagonist, I might go with more angular shapes, and but since he's a ends up being someone who helps them, I want him to be intimidating, but there's a friendly kind of aspect as well. So I'm not really hitting anything that's striking me as, pardon for the fan sound here, I'm not hitting anything that's really striking me. But you know, it's better to do it now than in a large stage, to get through a whole sketch and end up really disappointed with something. So I think I need to go a really different direction here. Everything's kind of looking the same in these right here, so I'm just gonna, there's almost a jellyfish thing happening here. This could be kind of fun. I don't know. Kind of like this. What was that? Okay, so this is closer to, this was something interesting. Something about this shape that I'm digging. This is not a direction I had thought about, so we'll put him up there. I'm just hiding it so I can kind of knock them out larger. Let's push that point at the top of the head. I don't know why I'm pushing a point there. What if he were a giant head? You know, I haven't really pushed any real crazy proportions. The movie Spirited Away had some really crazy characters, with the big-headed witch character, or sorceress. Be fun maybe to, because I haven't really played with that in Red's Planet, to have that kind of character or shapes. So that could be kind of cool. Can't remember what her name was. Pull up a, just curious. So here she is. Yubaba. It's just such a crazy exaggeration, and I love that. And she also has the the little henchmen who are just bouncing heads, which are kind of cool. There they are. These guys right here. So, but Yubaba, those are fun, and such great shape making that Miyazaki does. That's wonderful. So that could be kind of fun. So back to my alien. I'm going to zoom him out because it's easier. I'm not having to copy big areas or paint big areas. It's one thing about thumbnails. Alright. Not great shape making there, is it? Matter of fact, I'll take that out. So this could, here's the fun thing, is that this shape right in here could really be kind of like a shirt collar. And maybe those tentacles were more kind of spider-like. Could be more menacing. He does have to walk. We have to see him come out from behind his desk. And that is... and perhaps even run off. Now, he's a character of large proportions, a lot of girth, but he needs to be somewhat mobile. So when I'm designing characters, a lot of times I'm thinking of certain I'm thinking of how they would animate, mainly because I'd love to see this as an animated film, but also because it helps me imagine what this character would be like. And if there's a realism of this character. So here's Waternoose, and this is part of my concern about Waternoose is that he is hang on guys, I'm gonna just check something real quick. In mid-thought, always in mid-thought, right? Okay, my post did not go live, so I want to go over here. Alright, for some reason my post didn't go, but I'm going to keep doing this. So, publishing now. So crazy. You know, when you're designing an interface and you put so many buttons on everything, so it defaulted for, and I apologize if anyone is just now seeing this and coming in, that's okay. But it defaulted to tomorrow to schedule it, right? Yep, the 22nd. So anyway, here's Waternoose, and this is, there are going to be some certain similarities because I do want to give him a jacket and everything, but I want to avoid this. So definitely the multiple eye thing won't be happening, and I need to be careful there. But there are, you know, how can I design something that has the qualities of a character like that, but that aren't that isn't infringing. You know, that's different. That's new. All right, trying to arrange windows on my other monitor so that I can see people. If you end up in the Discord chat or if you end up in the other chat, I have windows open and I will be able to see you because, you know, that's what you do when you're in one of these chats. So, if anyone is just now seeing this or coming in and seeing the chat, here's what I'm doing. Designing an alien, kind of a mobster alien, that's a little bit Don Corleone, with a little bit of he's got tentacles because he has to has a certain connection to my character Max, and you know, he's your typical Vegas mobster because, hey, you know, not everybody in Vegas can be human. So I want to avoid water news. I like some of the things that are happening there, but I want to kind of push closer to the Yababa design of having the big head, and that way we with the features being less anthropomorphic in proportion, maybe we can avoid that similarity. There's always going to be someone's going to say something. You know, people were telling me that my my robot design looked like Ava from Wall-E, but the truth is I created so much of that character long before Wall-E came out. So there's not a, you know, as long as you're not doing a blatant rip-off of a character and there isn't a difference, or there's a nice visible difference, people are going to find similarities, whether they're there or not, unfortunately. And part of that is that old saying that there's nothing new. Was that Shakespeare? Someone said that. But I don't like that. I don't like that. But hey, you know, this, like I said, this is just blue skying it right now, and we're going to get through it. But there's no people are going to find similarities sometimes even when there aren't similarities. My cousin once told me, hey, I just saw a billboard that has your character Tawi up on it, and it looks just like it, and it was nothing like my character, nothing, but to his eye it looked like it. Why? Because it had a round head and, you know, big eyes maybe, or who knows. What if I made this straight? I like the fat belly, but you know, Don Corleone really wasn't fat. We think of him as fat because Brando got so fat in the in his old age. But he was actually not fat at the time. That could be kind of fun, although the shape is getting a little phallic. Here's another fun thing I can do. I just take another one of these. I can distort it. You know, that'll get me a little closer. Sometimes relying on the tools can get you away from the actual drawing process, but sometimes that would be kind of, I don't know, that shape is just a little too, no. But I'm gonna keep it in there right now, and we'll see. All right. I hear Glenn Keane used to tell his animators always come up with 10 ideas. Even if you think the first one is your best, come up with 10 ideas. And there's no harder working person in cartooning and animation. So I'm going to listen to Glenn right now and try to come up with a few more ideas. Plus, I'm still not digging any of these. Get rid of these. So I'm thinking posture here. I'm thinking the shape of the character. The head up, there's kind of a jowl, you know, that would be kind of nice. I'll make you an offer you can't refuse. Tentacle character is always fun to pose. Not really. Trying to figure out, you know, their silhouette, and it's easy for things to get lost and muddled. But that could be fun. All right. So we've come a long way, you know, from just the very beginning of my ideas. And they were just very kind of boring shapes, but now I'm starting to push into different shapes as I'm loosening up here. More, I don't know, not elaborate, but shapes that are have more variety. I think variety is what you're really looking for. All right, so we got that. Let's go back to, let's just throw in some more really quick here. What if you were, might as well. What if we got him closer to the ground here? What if he was more octopus-like? This is where natural media, I miss natural media, and part of it is with natural media, it does the work for you in the sense that you put down a watercolor line and it moves around, or or a marker. I think we have a lot more control, or too much control at times, of digital tools, whereas there's a little more chaos when you're using ink and and it's that chaos that produces a personality that of that media. If that makes any sense. Kind of an innate personality of visual personality, the way that watercolor bleeds into a page, and the way that ink moves around, and when you're using a brush, how the thicks and thins sometimes, although you're controlling them, that the sable on that brush does whatever it wants to, just a little too much pressure, and all of a sudden you got a thicker line, and that's what gives so much personality. This whole time of designing computer programs to emulate that, that's the one aspect they don't have. They're trying to get the computer to do things that aren't predictable, to get it to emulate traditional material. Okay. So, hey, there's a few different ideas here. I'm going to take some of these and start to develop them a little more. I want to look at some more reference ideas, just things that are I just put in a Google search for octopus alien. I just kind of wanted to see some things that maybe what would pop up that might push me out of my my thinking. I really could push the octopus aspect of him. That could be kind of cool. I like the eyes and oh, that's even fun. So sometimes after doing a few drawings, what's that from? Sometimes after doing a few drawings, going back and to a little bit of research, just to maybe push your mind away from what you're getting stuck on, is a good thing. So, octopus alien, let's try octopus monster. That's kind of fun. Look at that. Octopus face. And then after looking at it, it gives me some ideas, but now what I want to do is I want to get rid of it. I don't want to look at it. I want my my memory of it. I want to just kind of inspire my memory without influencing directly. So what if we were to do kind of just do a couple more shapes here after some of the stuff I just saw there. Hey, we were doing so one of those was like one of the masks or design for the movie Pirates of the Caribbean. But what if we were to kind of do the Yababa thing, but we had kind of almost like that mask without a body kind of thing. So not. So I am going to, let's do one more because I got one more idea, and then let's start fleshing some of these out. I guess maybe I don't have one more idea. So start to look just like the last one. So part of character design too is not, it's not just visual. It's knowing who this character is, what this character is going to be used for. Although there is certainly a what we would call an animation, a blue sky design period, where you're just coming up with really fun ideas. At some point, the design of the characters and the have to be more story driven. And now it's already story driven, but at this point, but then you know the practicality of the character may come into play. Hey, he needs to pick something up. He needs to interact with someone, and that may change. Yeah, that's pretty boring there. But let's go on and keep it for right now. And now we've got all of these. I'm going to add a little bit to my you know, I can change canvas size and going to make it 14. So now we've got just a few more. So there's there we go. So 15, oh no, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 different ideas. And now it's time to start playing around with some details. Just checking the live stream again. Don't know if anyone's there or if I'm getting any kind of feedback. And okay, well, nobody's there, but that's okay. You know, sometimes this is just the best way to do it. Jump in there and so here's what I want to do now. I'm going to do another level on top of that, another layer on top of that, and I'm going to just take a white pen and just kind of start playing around with some things. Go back to my sub view so I have some images of we'll see play around, just look around for the ones. What if there was a collar, you know, because he's got the tuxedo, and then he's got the chin too, so that pushes the shape up, and we get, if we gave him a bow tie, that could be kind of fun. What if it's just the collar, because you know, to this one. Give some cranium. Give a brow ridge so we get the best of both worlds. We get a are they octopus cephalopods? Is that what they are? See, I have to find out. Oh. Yep, cephalopod. So putting a brow on a cephalopod, what that does is it gives me the ability to create more human expressions by having that brow. This profile of Brando is always my what I remember from Drucker. Really nails that profile. I mean, profiles aren't hard to nail anyway, but Drucker does it with quality of personality and posture that you don't usually see in caricature. Very few. Only the best caricaturists know how to capture that, or look for it. It's not even know how to capture it. It's just they don't. Not everybody looks for it. They look for the physical attributes, but the personality, the posture of someone. It's not just in the face. So, interesting thing about The Godfather. The Godfather is a movie that's about death. And we see the lighting in this movie. It's all from overhead, so that the eyes have this skull look, this look of the eye orbits, and especially in that opening scene. Even Michael puts on those sunglasses a lot, which gives him that same kind of skull look. Yeah. This is interesting. This is going in a place I wasn't expecting. Keep in mind that this is early stages. I'm not expecting a finished character design, or even if there's something here I can use. I mean, the process is not about doing a perfect drawing right off the bat. This isn't a theme park. This is about me exploring character ideas and what the possibilities may be. And, when you work live, even when no one's looking, there's that pressure of everything's got to look good. What if this was kind of that nose shape? That Brando nose. And then so I'm losing variation in shape. This could be fun. But I gotta have a mouth. I don't like any of these, but that isn't to say that something may work here. So I could make that almost like a beak kind of thing, so I get both the mouth and the nose at the same time without actually creating a nose, so I get that shape. Jowls, and finding that is also a major part of the character. At some point it's time to put the reference away. It's kind of fun. I do want the bow tie. I want the look of formality. I want a look of you know, that this guy's powerful. There's the being well dressed. He's at the top of the hierarchy. Okay, I think I'm kind of, I think I have something to work with. I'm gonna go on and, you know, compress these. And here's what I'm going to do right now, since nobody's here, and I'm just going to keep going on this until the rain starts, which will happen in the next hour or so. But give me a moment. I'll be right back. Okay, I am back. All right. So let's take a couple of these, and I'm going to copy them like that one. Let's take this one. Just going to take these bottom three, duplicate them. And I want to take each of these and develop them. So, oops. All right. I want them each on a different layer. All right. Let's start with this guy. What I want to do is I want to enlarge him here. Let's go in and bring him down, and just with a pencil tool, I'm going to start playing around with the character and the shapes. So if he were like that big compared to, you know, our character? That could be kind of cool. All right, I'll take the next one. So, yeah, just pushing ahead even when you don't really like it. That's weird. I don't know why that's happening. Ah, that's why that's happening. digging this, so I'm gonna let's go with this guy. I'm not sure where we can go. Not digging this either. So let's go and do this last guy and see if anything can come up here. The idea here was using cephalopods. Actually, the octopus... Yeah, I'm still here. The octopus is such a great metaphor for a mob boss. He's got his hands in everything. Okay. You know, he doesn't have to be mobile. Could have him like in a wheelchair of sorts, like he's the... That could be kind of fun too, feeling like he's this old Don. So the difference between doing a tutorial video and doing a live stream is you get to see everything's not concise. This could be kind of fun. And this is a much more humorous looking character. There's nothing really that intimidating about him. But again, it's good to explore everything. It's exploring the things that are different than your original concept, that sometimes break you out into areas that you hadn't considered. there is more personality in this one than any of the other ones I have done. Which is interesting. And that's a good thing. That gets me in a little bit. Gets me a little bit closer. Double your line, and you get a darker image, and go from that to that. It's always a great thing to do. Let's do this. So that right there, I think, is my first. We can also do age spots. That's my first full design. So put him in a folder of his own. Call him 01. Alright, hang on to him. I want to hang on to him at the original size here in case I want to reuse him. But what I'm going to also do is duplicate that, flatten it. So now I can have a smaller version of him as well. Alright, so I'll go back to the first one I did there and refine him a little bit more. So, you know, a lot of the way I do this is different on each character. I mean, this is one where I'm exploring. I'm open to different ideas. I really don't know where I'm going with it. A lot of times with a character, I do know where I'm going, of what I'm looking for, whether it's I've already cast a certain actor in my head, or there are certain physical characteristics that I know in advance. And so with this one, I think it's good to explore and go different. And one of the criticisms that I've gotten from time to time, although I feel like unwarranted, is that the aliens in Red's planet, you know, are like so many of the aliens in sci-fi that are all humanoid. You know, characteristics, way too anthropomorphic, same proportions, and I disagree. I don't think that's true at all. As a matter of fact, I show a wider array of aliens than many science fiction franchises. You know, in Star Trek, they had they were criticized for what they called forehead aliens, because in Star Trek: The Next Generation, it was easy to create prosthetics for a forehead to create a different alien, or paint someone a different color than it was to, that was pre-CG. And nowadays we can create a character that's very different because we have computer-generated imagery. of the things I feel like in this characters that I'm not utilizing the posture. I'm not getting the posture I really want. So I'm aware that I think it. Okay, let's see what we can get here. And I want to capture the essence without being necessarily a caricature. I mean, the caricature is lost on the kid anyway, but you know, a big part of my audience. But what I like to imagine is that I'll introduce them to characters and ideas that when they see the influence years later when they're an adult, when they see The Godfather, there's this major reversal in their life. Maybe I've thought way too much about this. Maybe I haven't thought about it at all, but there's this reversal in their life that sends them all the way back to Red's Planet and go, oh, that's what that was about. Yet I don't want to compromise any entertainment value that they may be getting from it as they read it the first time. I started falling into Brando. Oh, Fredo. So I can make shapes. Maybe there's some kind of like tentacle thing instead of a mustache, you know? Like a catfish whisker kind of thing. this is the, maybe I get some kind of ear. This is where you start mixing different animal species to create something new and different that we wouldn't get on our planet or don't have on our planet. You know, maybe these are quills. That could be kind of cool. What if he has quills? Which could be kind of cool at the end, and I can avoid any kind of actual weapon. He could like shoot quills. So this is much more on the nose, obviously. Nose, haha. As far as looking like Brando. So we can still give some age spots here. But I actually kind of like it. I might be able to do some things that make it more less about the caricature, the face caricature. I don't know, but there's some things happening that I like. It might be too cliche, but there's something I think that's kind of appealing about it too. So let's try to. I'm probably gonna be sorry that I'm doing this. What do they call those? Are those butterfly collars? I'm probably going to be sorry because that looks like it's a pain in the ass to draw from all these different angles. I don't know if I have a way of drawing that convincingly. I don't like the design of that, so I figure out the best way to do that. Pixel lock on. So putting the character in a pose. Can start to create more character. And ultimately, character design is about creating character. Character just doesn't come from the physical aspects. It comes from the performance or the emotion or attitude that's coming through. And trying to create that in a friend of mine just found one of my books somewhere. Okay. From Augusta. So cool. So a big shout out to Dave in Augusta. He's got a store called the Book Tavern, and he's got both copies of Red's Planet there, and that is absolutely awesome to see it there. You know, right next to some big sellers. So thanks, Dave. If you guys are anybody's in Augusta, please go by and see Dave at the Book Tavern, and that's really cool. So, all right, back to this. So I put this on a. Oh, I guess I didn't. My friends clarifying that the book was not on clearance. Okay, so I put this on a multiply layer so I can see. Oops, did I do something wrong? No, I didn't, for a change. All right, so this is the layer, and I've got it on multiply. So, and there's a reason for this. And watch what I'm going to do. I want to try to create with a tentacle that same kind of pose that I'm getting there. So. We tend to, and sometimes poses like this are hard to convey without any actual movement, but we tend to superimpose or project. I think project is a better word. We tend to project our understanding of things, of the world, of other animals, on our own human experience. It's why we think our pets are practically people from the things they do, because we oftentimes project human characteristics onto them. And I think, so that's what I'm kind of hoping for here, that we see this. Now, the problem I have is I've got this as a different color, so what I'm going to do is, oops, pixel lock that, and now I can all right. The joys of character design, of computers. So it hasn't rained yet here Although I know there's got to be something on the way. As soon as that thunder gets too close, I've got to shut things down. But I'll keep going until the storm gets here. So you can see this pose could be worked, I think, a lot better. But so just playing around. You know, that might work better if I do this. Let's just see. So we got another character. Good enough, you know. It's a place to start. We'll call him. Oops, I didn't want to do that. I'll combine them into a folder. O2. Copy that folder. Now I can have a smaller version of O2. Anybody else that should get developed? Let's go on and I'm going to head back to my original drawings here and look again and see if there's something here that maybe is looking different to me now. And sometimes it's good to go in and flip it, look at it from another angle. Nothing's especially hitting me. So these will be things that I will continue to work on and develop. Let's go on and take this guy and try something here. Pull up a reference for something real quick. So the process of thinking of doing things sometimes spurs other ideas, and it made me think of Raymond Burr as Ironside, an old TV show back in the 1970s, early 1970s, maybe even late 1960s, where he's a cop. I think he was like I'm not sure if he was a detective or the chief, but he was a paraplegic, and so the idea of in a tuxedo, Raymond Burr, great face. So the idea of the wheelchair popped back in my mind, and I started thinking, of older wheelchairs. So that might be kind of fun too. The designs are so different. These are more like the FDR style wheelchairs. This could be fun. So playing around with that idea, as I look at this guy, I started thinking about that. So let's just block in a kind of a wheelchair structure to start with, and then we can and keep in mind with an alien here, I can certainly change that wheelchair. I like the big armrest. Hey, Finster. Um, just something. I've got a structure now. I can always change, but put that right behind this. Put this on multiply. And just keep going with that big head idea. The only problem is this isn't working into some specific stuff for the story. He's got to be able to walk out from behind the table. So I think this may not be something that I want to explore too far. But for a quick sketch, may be fun. So. I think he's getting a little too weak looking. I don't want a weak character. I want someone who's a bit intimidating. We don't know his reputation when we first come in, but there's certainly fear You know, what are they getting involved in? So this may not be the way to go. But hey, you know, a few lines. Nothing wasted there. Nothing hurt at all. So basically I've got two designs there that I'm enjoying right now. Not the sure this is the way to go, but it's a start, and from here, you know, take a little break, think about it a little bit. Oh, most important part, gee whiz. This is how not to do how not to do digital work. So I'm going to go in and call him Godfather. And save that. Although, you know, a lot of times there's working titles. I have working titles for things, and those aren't always what we stick with. But, yeah. So anyway, that is some character design there. Thanks for coming by. Those of you guys who are seeing this later, you know, it's fun to draw. Things are really in crunch time now, so I'm going to do a lot more of these. And if you want to just watch along or even skim through them later, maybe you'll pick up something, maybe not. If anything, you'll learn how not to draw. That's always a good thing. So, but just a few ways. I'll do a few more of these, and I will post in the Patreon page, the finished ones that I'll be working with today, and you'll have access to those as some early development for Red's Planet. So if you're a Patreon member, thank you so much for your support. I've been a little absent lately, but to try to, for a variety of reasons, but it's crunch time now, and I've got 7 months to do a book, so you're going to see a lot more of me. And if there's anything you want or need or looking for, please let me know, and I'm happy to help out. There's not many of you guys, so I'm very happy to jump in there and give you any feedback or advice, and I appreciate any support you're giving me. So thank you very much, and I will see you guys next time. If I can find out how to turn this thing off. Jane, stop this crazy thing. Hey, there it is. Thanks, guys, and I will see you next time.